I'll remind you.
Okay, but you can't say it out loud though. You're looking at a 16-foot tall, 6x6 ground contact treated pine here. It's long, it's awkward, and it's got to go 3 feet into the ground standing straight up. And as you can see, the cavalry's not coming today. We don't have help on the way. We haven't rented any equipment, but I'm gonna show you how to do this without breaking your back or your spirit. Let's get into it.
Welcome guys, welcome to Video. I'll show you how to put up a post by yourself. If you like this, subscribe, and if you don't subscribe. But it's mostly subscribe.
So every time I tell people that I set these big posts by myself, their first question is, how do you get the post into the ground without raking all the dirt into the hole, filling it back up as you're doing it? The trick is as simple as this right here. This is just a piece of corrugated metal. It's real flexible, but it's also slick and pretty strong. So let me show you how this little piece of metal solves that whole problem. So the first step in using this little sheet metal trick that I've learned is making sure that you're putting it on the correct side of the hole. So in that, you gotta know where you're gonna lay your post down, what direction you're coming from, so that you can put the metal on the far side away from where the post is laying. And so in my case, I'm going to have the post on the back of my truck, back it into here, and so the post is actually gonna be laying about right here where my hand's going. And so I wanna put the metal on this far right side from this side. And that way, whenever we stand the post up, as it stands up, it will slide down the back side of that metal. Make it super easy. So what I like about using this roofing metal rather than a 2x4 or anything like that as your backer board, your slider board, whatever you want to call it, with a 2x4 whatever, you can put it down the back side. Whenever you're standing your post up, if one of those corners catch on this back wall, it's gonna cave your walls in. Whereas with this metal, it's flexible enough to where you can kind of roll it into a burrito, slide it in and release it. And so then both your side walls, your back wall, everything's protected and it'll just slide right down those. Let's see if I can do this without cutting myself.
But if you have gloves, you can try this. But if you don't have gloves, go buy some.
Yep.
And you gotta make sure you have the right direction.
Yes, definitely wear gloves messing with this metal.
Yes. And if you don't, and you definitely have to make sure you have the right tools. sure you have the right metal too. Don't do that. You have to make sure you have the right metal. I'm gonna cut yourself.
I sure hope not.
Why?
So this is what we're looking at after getting the metal in there. You can see that this whole side and this whole side are protected along with the back. So then whenever you stand that post up, that back corner or that back edge will glide along this rather than caving in your dirt wall. Without having to worry about the wall caving in, you won't have to worry about trying to take your post back out to dig that dirt out or anything like that. So this right here is
perfect thing. I said it for you. Perfect thing.
Perfect thing. This is going to prevent a lot of heartache, and this is where that keeping your spirit unbroken is going to come in.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Poof. So you can see by planning ahead, I've only got to move this post 3 feet now to stand it up. The way it came in, we've got the metal on the opposite side, so our backer board is going to be in the correct place. Whenever we roll it off and stand it up, we won't have to worry about moving that around or shifting the post around. Again, it's all 90% preparation. We're going to try to take all the hard work out of it. So if you're like me, I know you're tempted to just roll this thing off the truck just to get it off, make it easy. But again, think ahead, because if you do that, this thing's gonna have dirt all over it, and we're fixing to have to walk this thing up above our head. And I can tell you from experience, having dirt fall off the post and go down the back of your shirt, which that day it was really cold and raining, but think ahead, don't do that. So the easiest way that I found is to put my big old belly on that end, just to take the weight off and pivot it off. You know, I'm 6'4", 235, probably 3% body fat, so a lot of you probably won't be able to do this, but for me, that's what works. All right, so here, instead of trying to pick up and do anything, I'm just gonna push down and pivot it off the truck. And so now that end will drop, and hopefully without breaking my leg, I can put that end on the ground.
Did it break your leg?
And for the physically hardest part of this whole project, dragging this post about 3 feet, because again, we planned ahead.
And if you haven't done this before, search Big Dirt Bill with builds in it. Now, if I get them to say,
And you want to make sure to lift with your lower back in a snatching and jerking motion as violently as you can, because that makes it easier.
yeah.
Just kidding, don't do that.
We have it.
All right, time to stand this bad boy up. Are you writing all the letters?
What?
Of what I'm saying. Got the end up against our backer board. Now just walk it up. There you have it. All right, job's over. Let's go hit the showers. Now we want to just take the pressure from this off of our sheet of metal. Slide it out.
And did you stop filming?
All right, so let's see. We need to take this out so that our
Check is
straight line will be good.
And if you have
So the yellow string we got going here is our straight line between corner posts. And ahead of time, what was you gonna say?
and the tape is where we're gonna put the post.
Yep, ahead of time I went and measured 12 foot and I centered the tape on that just as a kind of a rough guide. And so now we need to get this post plumb, straight up and down, flush up against this line without pushing the line over, and then also centered on that piece of tape. So let's work on doing that.
Yeah, and if we don't have that correct, we're gonna have to try to. If we don't have that correct, we're gonna have to try to. What?
Air Force One's doing a flyby. We don't need you. Turn it around.
Yeah, turn your ugly face around.
So we've got our post square on here. You can see I've taped it on here. These are made for 4x4s. They come with a little rubber band strap, but it's not quite long enough for a 6x6, so tape it on there. Since you're doing this alone, you're gonna want an extra set of hands to hold this board while you try to get it square. And that's where this comes into play. I'm gonna go a little bit overhead, so for me that's probably, I don't know, 9.5 feet up right here. The first one of these braces you want to put on is going to be the one kind of perpendicular to your string, and this way you can get this positioned up against your string and plumb before you start worrying about this way.
The
Uh-huh.
I think it's an F for me. Did you stop recording?
Not yet.
So, if you think this does not look well, you should rewind the video, and then you'll think it's real. If we did that, well, yeah, without your retreat.
So there's three things we're worried about here. The line, the bubble, and the brakes.
board.
So we're gonna adjust our post looking at this bubble. If we need it to lean away from the string, we're just gonna bump it here.
Yeah.
And so now we're plumb, but you can't really see here. It's hard to get all this in the video, but I'm about 3/8 off on the string. So, where'd that hammer go, Jack? Will you grab that hammer for me from over there?
Yeah, I can. And if you had this kid, you would like having this kid.
Yeah, if you have Jack as a kid, you'll like having Jack as a kid. Good job. All right, straight up and down, but we need to move closer to the string. We got another airplane flying over. Apparently I live at the test flight facility.
He really is not joking.
So we went a little too far, we're gonna hit it back.
Can I hit it too?
I think that might be good, bud.
My hit's not good.
All right, so now we're plumb. We are touching the string, but not pushing the string.
Which is not good.
We need to worry about along the string. And that looks good there also. You can see we are touching the string, but we're not pushing it over. And another thing to be mindful of is to make sure that your post is square on the string, which we're pretty close here. Checking our bubbles. We're in, centered. And on this one, yep, in and centered. Before I secure this brace down good, I'm going to take this board that I have attached to the other post I've already got set, and then put a screw in our board just to keep it from moving the other way.
Steps don't retrace your steps. They always won't be this. Your steps you have to retrace.
All right, now we check the bubbles again. All right, so we got it tied off so it can't move along the string now. So something else to note, you want to check these levels kind of between everything you do just so it doesn't move at all, because if your posts aren't plumb, you're going to run into problems along the way. So that looks good. Jack is crushing rocks with a hammer. But so first we're going to put the second screw there so it can't move quite as much, and then we're going to stake off this side so it can't move anywhere there, and then we'll put a couple more screws in our horizontal board that we've got. All right, so now we want to put this stake in the ground so that this can't slide around. You want to put it at a little bit of an angle so if it does pull that way, it's got a little more resistance to it. Again, check your bubbles.
Yeah.
Still dead nut in the middle of our bubbles, so we're going to go ahead and tie this off. Let's get some concrete in this hole. We're doing 160 pounds of concrete on each post, but I like to, first I'm put in 80 pounds, wet it, mix it up with a piece of rebar before I do the other 80 pounds, because I'm not taking the time to mix it beforehand, so this is Second best, I would say. Or close enough.
When I put the hammer on and a littler hammer, I'll show you the difference between a bigger hammer and a littler hammer size.
Oh, you making a scale out of a 1x4?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And when I put the littler it's a lot.
Super. Jack's made him a scale out of a 1x4. Comparing weights. Let's see it.
Well, I can't. It's heavier than your hammer.
I bet it is.
We'll have to add more weight to that.
Yeah.
We're not putting over one of those on.
So there you got it, guys. There's how to set a giant post by yourself. The most important thing to take away from this is nothing is that hard as long as you plan ahead. So making sure we know where we're putting the post, so whenever we back it up to unload it, we want to move it as little as possible. If you're going to take one thing away from this video, it would be the corrugated metal backer board, slider board, to put into your hole. That way you prevent a collapse whenever you stand the board up. Other than that, it's all pretty easy. Now, it is pretty heavy to lift these things up, but if you're 235 like me, it's I could have done it one-handed, but I didn't want to show out for the camera. Now we've got 8 down, 2 to go. So we're almost there. Tune in to the next video to see how I set 5 of these 32-foot trusses by myself with no help, kind of like I'm doing these posts.
But he's actually joking. We're gonna have a yes, we are. Aren't we?
Maybe. Maybe not. Just stand on it. Well, it's starting to rain here at Big Dirt, so we'll see you guys next time.